podcast called Jellison Podcast.
First ever type 1 diabetic in UFC history.
Doing fine, Nice to be with you.
Get out!
He's like, yeah. My tunnel vision and my periphery, I'm like off field.
Hey, you know how it is, though. Hey, when your team.
I don't remember that. That's crazy.
What's up, everyone? We're back with another episode of Jellison Podcast. Today, a very special guest joining me all the way from Japan, Deshaun Thomas. Deshaun, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for joining me. I know we're kind of in two different time zones. It's kind of crazy to connect from all the way over the world. But we were just talking a little bit before we started. You tested positive for COVID-19. So how are you feeling?
I feel great. Don't know how I got it, but only thing I lost was my taste and smell. That was a blessing. It wasn't nothing else. And getting my taste and smell back right now. So, just getting through it. A lot of people have been getting it here in Japan, but all over the world. But it's something we're going through right now. Hope we get past it. And I'm feeling healthy and continue to quarantine right now.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. So how many of your teammates test positive, if any?
Well, actually, none of them. I'm pretty sure some of them before I came here in the summer, some did, but ever since I've been here, none of them, except for one player did. But other than that, when I got it, obviously the team got tested and they came out negative, which that was a plus. But yeah, man.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't know if you know Sasha Stevanovic. He plays for Purdue. He was the only guy on Purdue to test positive in the middle of the season. So I don't really know how he got it. Obviously this virus is a weird thing, so we're kind of figuring it out as we go.
For sure, man. I mean, it's crazy how it hit people different. Like I said, man, we all gotta just be patient, stay clean. Trying to avoid a lot of contact, wash your hands, and do all those good things. But it's still out here. Hopefully, in this world, it passed. But everybody we gotta be safe.
Mm-hmm. And what are the guidelines like over there?
With just the COVID or just anything? I mean, pretty much they kind of like open things up a little bit slowly right now. At first, when the numbers went up like a month ago, they had stuff was kind of closed down at 8:00. So you basically like had to really, if you want to order food, go to the grocery store, you had to get it before 8. Stuff like that. Stuff was really, it was like a curfew pretty much. But this is a big city, and a lot of places got to stay open to make their money, and some places are still open.
Mm-hmm. And what are the differences between like there and like, I know we were talking last night about how Tokyo is kind of similar to New York, except it's a lot cleaner.
Yeah, it is. I mean, when you go in the city, it's similar. They got the lights. It's a big the way the streets are, and then like the little corner streets is just like New York. And it's cleaner in a way. They keep their streets really clean. They have people out there cleaning up a lot. The streets and stuff like that. So, it's a difference. It's a big difference for sure.
Mm-hmm. And what about the food? Because you talked about like going to the grocery store. I'm assuming they don't have like stuff that we have here. So like, what's the food like over there? Is it all like Asian type food, or do they have like all different kinds?
I got pretty much got all different kinds. But their food is amazing, man. Like the Japanese food the sushi was amazing. The rice, the like not Chinese food, but Japanese food is really, really amazing. It's just it's different than when you go to the States and go to a Japanese steakhouse. Like it's so fresh here. Everything's so fresh. It's so good, man. Like you can taste the big difference for sure.
I mean, that's one place I want to go is Japan for sure. Like I just went to Panda the other day and it was slapping, but
Listen,
it's like 10 times better over there.
listen, it's way. I've had Panda Express like twice since I've been here. Totally different. I mean, it's just like different. Like it's like I don't know if you want to say healthy in a way, but it's just like you can tell that our food is so processed. Like for example, like we tear on some Panda Express and stuff like that. We be so like tired, full.
Mhm.
Like here, you can get Panda Express. It's just like you won't be as tired. You got like energy. You still like can move around a little bit. So man, it's different, man. It's for sure. It's very different.
Mhm. What about that Japanese candy? Because like my mom went to I don't remember the store's name. It was in Cincinnati, and she bought a bunch of like international candy. Like that's their whole store, and she brought some back, and it was good. But um, like, what's the difference between their candy and ours? Because like I know for like the UK, it's more like creamy compared to the States.
I'm not a big candy guy. I mean, every once in a while. I know I like their sweets. They got a great sweets like cakes and all that stuff. The candy, I mean the candy is good. When I get like these, it's like those chewy, they call like chewy things, the little chewies or something like that. They famous for like those here. And those are really good, man. Like man, I think like me personally, I think in the States, sometimes, we put a little extra, a little whatever sugar ingredients. They here probably they got 2 or 3 ingredients in something and it tastes amazing. So I think the candies here is pretty solid.
Hmm. And then what are the main differences between just the overall culture in Japan compared to over here in the States?
They don't like conflict here. There's not a lot of conflict. You do barely see a lot of fighting. They real respectful. You can tell they was raised different. They just so respectful. They don't like conflict. You don't see a lot of crime or anything here. Um, their culture is very different. The way you got to walk into a gym. So you walk into a gym, or you got to take off your shoes. You got to buy into the culture, stuff like that. It's just they just good, working hard, respectful people here. And like I said, you rarely hear conflicts, no arguing or nothing. And it's really solid and smooth to be here, for sure.
Hmm. And I mean, you've played all over the world. What's the
Yes.
culture? What's the culture change like going from place to place and a place that you have never been before, and suddenly you're living there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with this game, we play, you get to see a lot of places, a lot of things. Obviously, I was in Europe for like, 7 years. So I got used to the Europe way, the Europe system, and then came to Japan. Totally different world, man. Very, very totally different world. We 13 hours, almost a day ahead.
Yeah.
It's different. It's just a big, big difference. I mean, just by the way, Japanese, they carry themselves, like I said, even when they party different, they really enjoy themselves. They really have fun. And even in Europe too, even in Europe and compared to the States, you go to a party and club, you as on to be fights and stuff like that. Here, they really party. They really party and enjoy and have fun. So it's very different, especially coming to something new and then have to live here for 10 months and didn't know what I was getting myself into. Because in Europe, I kind of got used to it. Okay, I'm going to Europe, know how the living situation is, know how everything is. But I got used to it. My teammates got me used to it. People got me feeling comfortable here, and it's Tokyo. Everything's in Tokyo, so it's been great and it's been a great experience.
Hmm. And like when you're back home, you're already a giant because you're what, 6'7". Like when you're over there, is it even more amplified? Like do you just power over everybody?
Well, yeah. I mean, okay, now obviously Europe is different. Like Europe, you got guys bigger than me, or the
Yeah.
same, like guys my size playing the 3 and the 2, and sometimes point guard in Europe. So you kind of balance that out. Here, yeah, I mean, you bigger than most Japanese guys ain't that tall. obviously other Americans imports here are tall. Some are 7 foot, some, stuff like that. But the Japanese guys not. I mean, you might come across a couple Japanese guys who probably 6'6", 6'5", but rarely. But I mean, they can ball though. I mean, one thing about a Japanese player, I mean, they very, very smart. They're very skilled and very smart. And they use their skill and then, they height a lot of upper unders to get past, bigger guys who are trying to block everything. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like a giant compared to most of them.
Mhm. And how much do you come back home to the States?
Man, it all depends on how the season goes. If we make it farther, like in Europe, you make it farther in Europe. I mean, the Europe League, early, in the domestic league, you go to like June, mid-June sometimes. If you obviously don't, have a decent season but don't make like the playoffs, you come back. The earliest you come back is May. Here, I heard that without the COVID schedule, I heard you come back the earliest is April if you don't make the playoffs. But if you do, late May. So you think about it, I'm only home, a month and a half, maybe 2 months, at that. It's a grind, man.
Yeah, for sure. And this summer, you're coming back to do summer league camp with a good friend of mine, Rafael Davis. So talk about how this came to be.
I mean, reached out to my, my circle is small. Reached out to the people that, helped me get through this process. Growing like as a kid, basketball, Speedsville House, all that. So, I reached out to them saying I want to give back. I want to do something. I've been playing this game for so long, and I got to start looking at building my brand and keeping it out there, and just give back, come back home, and let know, Fort Wayne, I still love them. I want to give back. I want to do something, and it's gonna be something special to get started. Rayfield. I want to have other, some other of my friends involved with it. It was helped me out successfully in my career. So yeah, man, it's gonna be something exciting to give back, man. It's gonna be something exciting to do. I heard one of your podcasts that Rayfield mentioned Walter Jordan. We all grew up Walter Jordan. It's got to bring that back and trying to keep it going each year. And for the kids who can get on teams, for the kids that want to hoop, and keep the kids out of violence, especially in our neighborhood. So it's going to be something very exciting.
Mm-hmm. And have you kind of been keeping tabs on what Rayfel's kind of building over the last several months?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be on social media. I see a lot of things. I like what he's doing, man. I mean, it's a sport. Rayfel's a smart guy. It's a sport that he loves. Obviously it didn't went the way he wanted to go, but he impacted it with his mind and what he knows about the game. And he's doing a heck of a job, with the camps, with the kids, especially with the kids who, want to learn the game, and the kids who was in our position, who want to be successful. And he's doing really well at that.
Mm-hmm. And what is it like to actually be in a position where you can actually create change in your community and go and give back?
It feels, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing because, growing up wasn't easy. Growing up, it was hard. It was a grind. And it's a blessing to be in a position to give back. I wish it would have started early, in my career, but, I was grinding still. And it was tough to me being home back and forth, short amount of time. You gotta place I had to place myself in a good position to do that. And I think right now, in my stage of my career right now, is to do that. And it means a lot. It means a lot to me to give back, especially for those who, the kids who look up to me, the fans, especially from my hometown. Like I said, we grew up in the same position, and I just want them to teach them and let them know anything is possible. If you put your mind to it and put your work in, anything's possible in life.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. I mean, it's awesome to see you and Ray teaming up. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Ray. I've had him on the show a few times. Him and Lou Jack. I mean, I went to one of their camps in Lafayette up here, and and I mean, the impact he's having on these kids is insane. I love it. So
for sure,
I'm glad.
You got to put the work in, man. You got to put the work in to do that, and that's what he's doing. And and having guys like me on the team to help him out with that and continue to grow. It's all about a family thing. It's all about putting the ones you want on that who cares about others and want others to be successful. So, and it's great to for me and him to team up and do that for the youth and for our city.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go back to your time, obviously, in the Big Ten with Ohio State.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys won what, 3 Big Ten championships in a row during your time there?
Yeah.
Like,
I guess. Yes.
Big Ten regular season and the conference tournament twice, I believe.
Yes.
I mean, nobody does that in the Big Ten. So just talk about like how you guys were able to piece those those pieces together and have so much success.
I mean, it started out since day one. We all came in as freshmen. I think that year we had the number 1 freshman class. My freshman year in 2010. It started at day one, man. We all wanted something. Obviously, we all had dreams, and we all wanted to bring Big Ten championship to Ohio State. And with the guys that we had, we was capable of doing, and the coaches that we had. I mean, obviously, Coach Mata was great. He was one of those coaches who get the best out of you. He make you want to go out there and play as hard, not only just out there on the court, but obviously as a person and a man, and knowing what's important. Man, it was a great run. Those 3 Big Ten titles, man. It was a great run. Great experience, man. One of the best moments of my life. And those are the moments you got to cherish and never take anything for granted.
Mm-hmm. I mean, not only.
Also, we got the Final Four too.
Yeah,
that was a great one too.
I mean, that class was absolutely loaded. You came like Solinger, you, and Kraft. I mean, that's probably the best class in Ohio State history, if I had to guess.
If you compare that Greg Oldham class, maybe our class, we probably was. I mean, man, we was number 1 in that freshman year. We was number 1 in the nation. Like, not in college, like we was number 1. So like that class was something special, man. Like Kraft, me, Jared, Jordan Cyril, and Zell Smith. Man, even J.D. Weatherspoon, even though he went different ways, but J.D. Weatherspoon was very talented. We all was talented, man, and it could be possibly one of the best for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then you mix that in with guys like John Diebler and William Buford. I mean, you guys were I hated playing you guys.
Hey, we was loaded. Great experience guys, man. Like John, Will Buford, Dave Lighty, Dollars Lauder at the time, man. Like, yo, we was loaded. We played defense though too. Like we played defense, and we had a lot of threats on offense, man. We was special, man. We had a lot of weapons.
Mm-hmm. And that, I mean, you mentioned that Final Four run. That was your sophomore year. That was when you and Solinger were just at your peaks. Did you guys just know, like, going into like Penn State, who was probably bad at the time, you're just like, all right, we're both gonna go get 20 and 10.
Man, like that run was special, man. Like very, very special. Me and Jared that year, we was unbelievable. We was playing great basketball at the time. We never think that though. We thought every game was important. We thought every team wanted to beat us. We thought every team could beat us because they want, what I'm saying, we had like a target on our back that year. Jared went down, for a couple of weeks, and then, that's when I had to step up, and we just killed, man. Like we played unbelievable that year, and got to the Final Four. Obviously, we came up short, but that run was something special for both of us. Even Ohio State, the whole team in general, the whole organization. those are the moments you got to cherish too and be like, man, we got there. We was almost there. And you can't never take those for granted either.
Mm-hmm. And talk about, I mean, obviously the NCAA tournament just ended last night for me, early morning for you. Baylor put a whooping on Gonzaga. I don't know if you watched.
Yeah, I seen, like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I stopped watching college basketball like after like D'Angelo Russell done left. You know, like I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. Like I heard, you know, I see highlights with Instagrams. It's kind of different with the NCAA now, though, with no fans, man. Very, very, very different. You know, like that is a different mindset for sure for kids. Like some kids is pressure, some kids is not a lot of pressure. So like, and some kids are just like used to whoop. It's like hooping in the open gym. So like, it was very different seeing no fans, man, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so for Purdue games, I get to go and cover them, and it's, I mean, you know, Mackey, you played at Mackey.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
bananas in there, and like to see no fans and like them pumping in crowd noise, it's like.
And the gloves y'all wear, like the black gloves in there, y'all still do that? Like smack your hand? Huh? Oh man, like when we played Purdue, like they used to have these gloves, like black gloves. They used to smack them. Like, you know, it's a lot of, and it'd be so loud. You know, it's a lot of fans in there. And I'm like, yo, what is they doing? It'd be like black rubber gloves that they have. They should be rocking in that gym though, for sure.
Yeah, they might have done away with that. I don't know, because I haven't heard of it.
I remember. I know. I remember. They used to have the little glove. I don't know. They had some on. They used to smack their hand type, and it used to be so loud. That was like that's my freshman year. That was my freshman year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you had a lot of success against Purdue. Last time I was looking back, you went 4-1, and was giving us some buckets.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, them. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Purdue, yeah, we played it. It was like a rival game, man. Like it was like a rival game for sure. Like, and you know, I played pretty well. Like you said, 4-1. I didn't even know that like that. Like for real. I just was a kid out there trying to be successful, win ball games, and play the best I can.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about Coach Mata. How much success, or how much credit do you give him for kind of getting you guys to play together and allowing you guys to all buy in?
I mean, you got to give him some credit, man. Like he put a group of good guys. You know, Mata. I don't remember when the last Mata had like a guy who's a player who goes off the wall. You hear crazy things about. He recruit good guys, man, and I give him big credit, because you got to have players who's hungry, who want to be successful, who's willing to work hard, and great group of good guys, man. Like that's what he recruited, and I give him big props to that. You know, nobody was like in a fist fight a lot. We all was hungry and was ready for war, and that's what he did. And I give him big ups for that.
Mm-hmm. So just getting back to kind of the Big Ten scope as a whole, who were some of your favorite battles against, both as a team and then players as well?
Battles against who? Obviously Michigan. Mm-hmm. That battle, you know, Ohio State and Michigan battle was crazy, man. Like every year that one was so lit. Going there, playing at our crib, like that battle was amazing. Player playing against, played against a lot of players in college, man. Played against a lot of players. Draymond Green I played against. I mean, that was great. You know, that was a great battle right there. We played in the Big Ten tournament. Man, at the 4 position, man, I played against a lot of guys in the Big Ten, man. And I killed a lot of guys too. So yeah. Man, so I could say I think Draymond was probably one of the big battles that we had in the Big Ten tournament. You know, just because, you know, just the player he was and, you know, success he had. And that was a great battle between me and him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I was looking back at just kind of the league back then. They had Draymond, Trey Burke, Tim Hardaway, Cody Zeller, Victor Oladipo, Robbie Hummel. I mean, and I could go on and on.
Crawford was pretty good too there on that time, the 4 position too. So like we had some good guys, man. Like for sure, some great players, man. In the Big Ten was always like it was the toughest conference, especially around when we was there. You know, like it was a tough conference. Like anywhere you went was gonna be anywhere you play, it was gonna be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's Penn State, you went to Penn State, you was gonna have a game. Like the whole Big Ten, Minnesota, like it wasn't gonna be no blowout games. You see, you know, other you know, in the Big East, other conference, you see teams losing by 25, 30. In the Big Ten, it was always a close game because the Big Ten was just so physical and tough, you know, and everybody was hungry, man. Everybody was like dogs there. So like it was very, very, it was a tough conference for sure for a lot of years.
Mm-hmm. And I have to ask, since you and Ray are going to be linking up this summer, in your college primes, who would win one-on-one, you against you or him?
I mean, Ray was a smart player. You know, he was a great defender. Me one-on-one, my prime, I'm in my prime still. Like, but in college, man, like I think I'll win that. You know, obviously Ray was a great player, great defender, but you know, I have a little bit more size. You know, got post game, got the one dribble pull up. You know, I think my size would have hurt them a little bit on that. I think I'll take that win though for sure. I think for Ray for sure it would be competitive one-on-one, but I think Ray no.
Yeah. He's not going to be happy hearing that. But
for sure, it's the competitive ending though. Like, you know, it's all love, but that's what we all, you know, we all came up growing, competing and being competitive. I mean, you know, like I remember Ray beat me in high school. You know, we went to Southside and he beat us there. He played a heck of a game. You know, so I mean, Ray was a competitor. So it's just you know, I'm just different. I'm a different guy. I'm different.
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna comment on that, but Ray, during our part, I don't know how far apart you guys are in age, like 2 or 3 years,
something like that, maybe 2 or 3 years.
He was talking about you guys going back to Fort Wayne and giving back to the community, and basically what he was saying is like people looked up to you like some like Greek god or something like that, and like when you left, everyone was trying to like fill your shoes. So what?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Go ahead. You can finish the question. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, how does that make you feel to kind of hear that and know you had that impact just on the basketball side?
I mean, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing, man. Like grinding, putting up those numbers as a high school, being with third in Indiana, and then seeing kids trying to fill my shoes, players, it's a blessing to put myself in that position because that's what it's all about. It's all about those kids who look up to me and want to follow my shoes and be great or even better. And like I said, like it's such a blessing that I watch kids who try to chase me, you know, chase my numbers in high school, you know, a lot of kids. And it's just great to see. I mean, that's what I wanted to put myself in a position for kids that look up to me and want to be like me or be better, you know, and it's good for me to go back and then not give them the knowledge to the youth and the kids who's trying to follow my shoes and just tell them these are the steps, these are what you need to do to be successful. And hopefully by me telling them and giving them the knowledge of the game can help them through that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't really know who's in your class. That was a long time for me. I was 10 years old when you graduated high school. But just talk about like,
you made me feel old, man.
But talk about like, I mean, obviously in 49 other states it's just basketball. The NCAA tournament was played all throughout Indiana this year. Talk about the high school basketball scene back in your day with, I mean, all the great players from all over the state.
Oh man, my class, you gotta think about it. I had Jared Sullinger, Kyrie Irving, Brandon Knight, Josh Smith. Man, I can go on Patrick Young, Harrison Barnes, Tobias Harris. Like, man, if you look at that high school class, to my mind, it's crazy. Unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. And I remember going to Lawrence North because, we was always ranked. Lewis was never ranked, and, I got there, in the nation. And we went to Lawrence North playing Dominique Ferguson, all them guys being on the scene. That high school basketball was something special too, because we had one of the best classes, and just going through there grinding, seeing different guys, and me always traveling and playing against high schoolers like Tristan Thompson, them and all them was a great experience, man. So like that class right there was something special, man. Those high school days was something special for sure.
And I don't really remember like who all was around that class in just in Indiana. I feel like Gary Harris was in there.
Gary Harris, you had Gary Harris. You had was Cody Zeller was Cody around?
Yeah, he was from Indiana. Yeah.
Cody, you had Derek Ellison. Remember Derek Ellison?
I was like,
yeah. I mean, we had some battles too, man. Like went down to Tipton. I'm pretty sure it's a lot more, man. It's just, because Indiana basketball was something special. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more guys that, was out there who was very successful, man. But it's hard to name them right now for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably list off 50 guys
for sure
just in Indiana. But before I let you go, I wanted to get back to that NCAA tournament run. I know we kind of went off into a bunch of different ways, but just talk about how special that run is. Just like the high that you feel winning in the 64, round of 32, Sweet 16, Elite Eight, finally getting to the Final Four, and then kind of the heartbreak when you guys came up short.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was a great run, man. For Ohio State, like I said, for the team. It's me personally, like that year, that sophomore year, I went crazy. Like, it was a blessing. Like I remember going into the tournament, my first game I had like 36 and something. I was averaging like 29 and like 10 or 11 in the tournament. It was unbelievable personally, but that run for us as a team was something special, man. Very, very something special. I mean, and it started with, Aaron Craft hitting that big shot at was that year at Iowa? No, was that? No, that was the year after. I'm sorry. With Craft did millions of big things anyways, offensively. But yeah, that year was something special. That run for us. We came up short. Played Kansas. We played them in the regular season without Jared. We lost by 6. So we for sure knew we had him, like, you know what I'm saying? Like when Jared back. But it was a great run for us, man. Because I think it was a great one. Ohio State haven't been to the Final Four in so long. It was great, but we came up short. But we all had to look back at the successful things we did to get there, and that's what we did. We fought and we won, and we never gave up, and we did something special that year and got to the Final Four.
And how much do you talk to those guys that were on that team, like Kraft and Sully, like you mentioned?
We talk. I mean, I played in TBT with him. I played with the TBT with him last summer, and I see him in Ohio State. We always go back. When we talk about it a lot, man, we thought we would have got past Kansas. We would have played Kentucky. That would have been a great game. Playing against Jared and Anthony Davis, me and Terrence Jones going against each other. Marcus Teague and Aaron Craft going against each other. So it would have been a great. It would have been, we would have matched up with them for sure, better than Louisville did for sure. We would have matched up better, and we always talked about it. We always talked about it. We would have just got there, or if I wasn't in foul trouble that whole year, I'd never been in foul trouble until the Final Four, or we would have made this shot, or something would have happened crazy. But we came up short.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I feel like you guys would have matched up with them well, but
sure.
I mean, Anthony Davis and they were just absolutely, and they had a lot of older guys too that year, I believe.
Yeah, they had Miller, right? They had Miller. There's Miller. They had older guys. They had a lot of older guys, but I think we just matched up better than Louisville, because I think Louisville was a little bit too small. Mm-hmm. At the time. Obviously, they played hard. That's what Rick Pitino do. They press. They gamble a lot. But I think that height of Kentucky, really, got them past them, Louisville. But I think we would have matched up because we was the same size. Me, Terrence Jones, similar players. Same size. Anthony Davis and Jared. Miller and Will. Same height. Mm-hmm. I think we matched up really, really better than Louisville would have.
Yeah, fair enough. So I know you said you don't watch a whole lot of college basketball. You just kind of catch the scores and the highlights. But
yeah,
I'm assuming you saw that Ohio State got bounced in the first round. A lot. I mean, Purdue did too, so I'm not going to give them too much hate. But what do you think when you saw that?
You know what, man? Like, I thought the way Ohio State was playing this year, like I thought they had a chance for sure. And watch that. Actually, I watched a little bit of that game, and the shots, the two great looks. Washington had a great look at the end to tie it up. He had a great look, man. Like, they play hard, man. They play hard. That's what you wanted to do. I know it's sad. You had dreams. Kids had dreams. You wanted to make farther and farther and get to that dance. But, they play hard. It came down to two great looks, down 3. So you got to give your hats to that. And the hats to the other team that won.
Mm-hmm. And obviously Purdue beat them twice this year, then lost to them in the conference. I was at the game. They played in Lucas Oil for the conference tournament. And they have like limited amount of fans. That place was insane during that game. I don't know if you saw the highlights.
It was crazy.
Yeah, you guys were up like 18.5 or something, and Travion came back, and so we came back and tied it. Then we went to overtime, and you guys just blew us out in overtime. But
yeah, man, yeah, that's special about Ohio State, though. Guys, they play hard, they play their best, and the Big Ten in general, man, it's just that's how it is, man. Like, you can be up 18 and 20, but in the Big Ten, but it's a team coming back. It's just like that, man. Guys, it's Big Ten is something special, man, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Big Ten's the best conference in the country by far, in my opinion.
By far, for sure, man. Hands down. I know for sure. When we was in it, that mug was, like I said, it was the best. People were saying it though. People were saying it. Like, Big Ten basketball is like the best in the country for sure. Like, for sure.
Yeah. It's not even really close.
Yeah.
Like Big 12, not really. ACC, I could see it just because of Duke.
A bit. The Big Ten is just like, it's just so physical, man. Like, guys really grind. Guys really, really hoop. Like, it's so physical, and and it's just, like you say, you rarely see blowout games in the Big Ten. You rarely see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a grind year in and year out. But I've kept you long enough. I don't want to hold you anymore. Okay. But, hey, thank you so much for doing this. I'm glad we were able to work out a time. I'm excited to see what you and Ray put together this summer, and I hope you continue your recovery with COVID-19.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Stay safe, man.
Yep. You too.
All right.